Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and what we're going to make are angel biscuits. I tried these at a friend's and I thought they were so good. I asked her for the recipe. Well, she gave it to me, and what I liked about it when she told me more about the ingredients and how to make them is that these biscuits are between a biscuit and a roll, because it does use yeast as well as baking powder and baking soda. So it makes for just a delicious biscuit with butter and honey, or butter and jam or jelly. But what I particularly liked is that she served it with ham and cheese and actually made a sandwich bun out of it, and they were absolutely delicious. So I had to go home, make them for myself, and then of course do this video. So let's get started. First of all, I do want to tell you I made this recipe in my bread maker because again, all my breads and that I make generally, and yeast coffee cakes, I use my bread maker on the dough cycle. I find the consistency and it just turns out beautiful, and it's easier for me. Now of course you want to make this recipe by hand, please feel free, but I'm going to give you the recipe right off the bat so that you'll know what ingredients there will be. Okay, you're going to need one package of your dry active yeast. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of water, at least anywhere from 110 degrees Fahrenheit to 115 Fahrenheit. 1 cup of shortening, 5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 2 cups of buttermilk to make this this recipe. Now I'm going to just put some flour on my countertop and show you half of the dough. So this is only half. Okay, now if you're going to make your traditional size biscuits at about 2.5 inches, you can get about 2.5 dozens of these. I actually wanted to make both, so I made some smaller ones and then I made larger ones like this because I wanted to use them for sandwiches. Okay, I want to tell you the dough is very easy to work with. It's not real sticky. It's very pillowy and soft, and it's light. It's not real dense or heavy that you might think it is. So I'm just gonna roll it out, and you want to roll them to about 1/2 inch in thickness. Of course you can make them you know, whatever size that you want. Alright, so I just actually take the dough out, form it with my hands, and try to make sure that it, you know, it's at least 1/2 inch in thickness. And you can try to make a rectangle or a round, whatever you want to do. Okay, so I'm just going to smooth that out. All right, now you will need, of course, a pan to bake them on. And what's nice is you do not have to spray them or oil them or grease them or anything like that. Now you can bake them on your parchment paper, of course. And then I'm using again my large cutter for this. And you do want to space them a couple inches apart because they are going to spread. Now once that you cut them and lay them on your tray, okay, let me cut one more here. Okay. Then you do want to cover them with a piece of plastic wrap or, you know, your clean kitchen towel till they're double in size. And it might take you, you know, 40 minutes. It might take you an hour. It might take you an hour and a half for these to double. It really depends on the temperature of your kitchen. So do cover them with a towel. Now I want to wash my hands really quickly. Also, you're going to bake them at 400 degrees, and they're going to take you anywhere from maybe 12 to 14 minutes to bake them, because you don't want to over bake them either, but you want to have sufficient baking times for them. So let me just rinse my hands quickly. It's a really relatively very easy biscuit to make, and this is how they turn out. They really bake up so beautiful. I want to show you where I baked up the smaller ones, and this is one right here. I hope you can see it. They'll have a nice golden top to them, nice golden bottom, and this is more of your traditional size. But what I really enjoyed was making the larger ones for sandwiches, so that you could just slice them down the center and, you know, fill them with whatever that you'd like. So let's set the basket aside here for a moment, and I'm going to grab a knife so that we can cut into one. We'll cut into the smaller size. Okay. Now, if you make the larger ones, you're not going to get, of course, you're not going to yield as much as the small ones. The small ones, as I mentioned, you can get usually about 2.5 dozens, and you're probably going to get, I got just a little shy of, oh geez, I would say 1.5 dozens. It really depends what size you make them. But anyway, going back to when you slice them in half, or you just want to break them apart with your fingertips, they are so light. They're so airy. And I don't know if you could see me pulling back on this. And let me even just give it a little bit of a squeeze. I hope you can see how soft and pillowy they are. They just make a delicious, as I said, kind of a cross between a biscuit and a roll. And when you break open to them, they are delicious, warm with butter or jam. And again, I don't know if you can see how very delicate that bakes up. They just melt in your mouth. They're not heavy and they're not dense at all. These biscuits, I think you're really going to enjoy them if you try this recipe. And it's not a real difficult recipe, so those are the ones that I particularly like, are the easier recipes. Also, again, I will not have the recipe or ingredients below the video. I really stopped doing that due to that so many people are taking my videos and claiming them theirs and that kind of thing, so I'm not doing that. But hopefully I went slow enough for you that you got all the ingredients. Also, if you try this recipe and you like it, well, leave a comment, because I love to hear from you. Now, I need you, though, to solely watch me on YouTube, because when you leave your comments and you're not watching me on YouTube, I'm not getting your questions or your comments or anything, and it's so frustrating for me, because I do like to hear from you. So please watch me on YouTube. Now, if you're so inclined and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that would be fantastic. Or give me a like, or even ring the bell. I'd really appreciate it. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and I'll see you soon.